Everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. We see people are still getting logged in, so we're going to give you a minute to get settled and then we will get started. Thanks. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. I have my screen shared out. If anyone in the GoToWebinar chat can raise your hand or just give us a thumbs up in the chat, letting us know that you can hear us okay and that you can see our screen, that would be helpful. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. So today we are talking about My Employer on the Go. So this is our introduction to My Employer on the Go. A few housekeeping items before we get started. Everyone is on mute, but there is a question panel on the GoToWebinar toolbar, and we want this to be as engaging as possible. So as we're going through the different sections of the presentation, if you have questions, feel free to go ahead and post those in the question bar, and we will try to address them as we're going through. And then at the end, if you have any additional ones, we'll take those as well. So we'll go ahead and jump right into it. Our agenda for today is going over who is on the call. We're going to talk about what is My Employer on the Go. And we'll do a demonstration to show you the value that it adds to your organization, the solution that it provides to the end user employee, and how hopefully it's going to give you some time back in your day. And then we'll talk about the tools and resources that are available to help support you and your employees. And then again, we'll round out with any additional questions. So on the call today, you have myself. My name is Erica. I'm one of the product experts with Capital Payroll. And you also have Nick, your senior account manager. So show of hands, and you can use the GoToWebinar toolbar here, but who has heard of My Employer on the Go or has seen My Employer on the Go before? And again, there should just be a little hand raising option in that toolbar. Okay, so a couple of you have, good. Hopefully we cover a lot of information that's beneficial to you. Maybe we're going to show you something new that you haven't seen before. But for those who are not familiar with My Employer on the Go, it is a robust employee self-service portal. So it allows the end user to log in either from a computer, a mobile app. We do have it available on Android and Apple devices, where they can log in and access check stubs, W-2s, benefit statements. If you're using the system for time off requests, they'll have access to their accrual balances, as well as submitting time off requests through the system. It offers an electronic onboarding tool. It's not required, but it does increase efficiency when you're bringing in new hires to have them go ahead and complete that paperwork electronically, and it automatically stores it to their profile, so you don't have all those papers wrestling around on your desk. It does allow you to communicate with the employees. There's an announcement feature that shows, so you can put out messages that show to everyone, hey, we have a company picnic coming up, or open enrollment is starting. We'll show you what those features look like. And then I think one of the biggest things is that you can customize the product. So maybe you're not using time off request. Maybe you don't want to use the electronic onboarding, or you don't want to start out with all of these features. You actually can control what the employee can see and do. So we can give them read-only rights or view rights, or not enable it for them to see at all. So you would work with the Capital Payroll team to customize this so that it works for you and your organization. So before we jump into the product demonstration, Nick, do you have anything that you want to add?
No, I don't believe so. I think that, yeah, as you'll see in the product demonstration, this offers quite a bit of functionality, like you mentioned, onboarding and just, employee information. So
Perfect.
I think we can just dive in.
So we'll go ahead and jump right into it. So My Employer on the Go is controlled out of the Employer on the Go product. So this is where, as an administrator, you're logging in and you can maintain that day-to-day operation for the payroll side, but you can also, initiate the My Employer on the Go access, and you can kind of see what the employee is seeing when they're logging in. So we're going to start in Employer on the Go to kind of show you what this looks like. And to really show the functionality of the electronic onboarding, we're going to start there first. So you can see how easy it is to start the process. We'll log in as an employee and go through the electronic onboarding. Then we'll go in as the employee to show you what they see when they log in to My Employer. So again, this is the Employer on the Go portal. This is what you guys would be logging into. To start the electronic onboarding, the easiest way to do this is you just go to the Employee tab and do Onboarding Employee Setup. So there's only a few pieces of information that's required to start the process. And you can see those are indicated with that red asterisk. So we just need a first and last name. If you don't know the social, that's fine. You can just check the box, not on file. You're going to assign the tax group because we're going to have them complete their W-4 and I-9. So we need to have that W-4 pop up for them. And then we just need an email address. So super easy to use. We'll just put an email address in here. Then you hit save. So once you hit save, there's going to be two things that happen. The employee is going to get two separate emails. So let me just go ahead and save this so you can see. Oh, I guess it helps. So we can see that the employee has been added. So now it's up to the employee to take the next step. They're getting two separate emails, and the emails look like this. One is a temporary password. It's unique to each individual, so they cannot share this information. They need to make sure they're using their own. Then the other is a registration link that they use to access the system. So all they have to do is click the link in that first email, and we're going to copy the password from the second one. And from there, we get right into our onboarding. The electronic onboarding is fully customizable. So if there are certain things you want them to see or to complete during these steps, you can choose to modify that as needed. So you can see down the left-hand side, they're going through a number of different steps before they get completed within the process. First one is just a welcome message. It's fully customizable. You can put any content here, including images, videos, links. But this is basically where you're going to welcome them into the process, kind of give them an expectation of what they're going to be doing, and then they're going to move forward in each step. So we'll move forward to our terms of use, and we'll agree to the terms and conditions. And then we're going to be asked to set up a username and password. So I have tons of
Hey, Erica.
Yes.
It got hard to hear you. I think your microphone died.
Oh, can you hear me right now?
Yeah, that's better. Well, now it went out again.
Oh.
Going in and out, it seems.
Let's see. Is this better?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So again, the employee is going to complete these user steps. So they're going to go from the top to the bottom, and each step that they complete, the system is caching where they left off. So basically, if I were to get logged out for whatever reason, I got disconnected, or I had to step away to take care of something, the employee can log back in, and it's going to pick up exactly where they left off. So they don't have to start the process from scratch again. So I'm just going to go ahead and create a username and password. And then we're going to set our security questions. And what this is doing is setting the employee up to be able to reset their password themselves. So in the event that they forget their username and password, instead of coming to you to get it reset, they will have the option to use the system to answer some security questions to validate their information, and then the system will provide a reset password link or can provide them with their username. And that just prevents them from having to come and ask you guys every time. But in the event that they can't figure that portion out or still can't get into it, you can actually see from the Employer on the Go portal what their username and password is. And that also gives you the ability to log in as them to see what they're experiencing if for whatever reason they do have some technical difficulties. All right, so from here, we're going to validate our demographic information. So we want to make sure that we have the correct spelling of their name, their social security number. I'm just going to put something in here. Our date of birth. Let's just pick. And then our email address, our phone number, and then their physical address. Whatever's being completed here is automatically going to update the payroll record. So it's not like we're just collecting it and then you have to go back in and update it. Everything that's being done here automatically flows back in for you. So once we have the demographic information completed, we're going to move on to direct deposit. And again, if you are not collecting this information up front, you can disable this step, but it does give the employee the ability to go ahead and provide that direct deposit information, and it updates the record on your behalf. So they'll come in and provide their accounting and routing number, the bank information. And then the nice feature with the system is they can do multiple direct deposits. So if I wanted a portion of my check to automatically go to my savings, I can automatically set it up. I want $50 out of every check to go to my savings account. And then I want the rest of it to go to my checking account. So you can actually create multiple accounts in here. Do a fixed
I'll add that you can, as you mentioned, you can disable any of these, but you can also make them either required or not required. So they can be there, but optional.
Correct. And I think that it's beneficial to collect this information up front. Obviously, we're updating the records, making sure we have everything correct. But in My Employer on the Go, you'll see if you wanted to let them update direct deposit information after they've done this, you have that option. But I typically recommend that they come to you and update that info after they've done onboarding. I don't normally recommend exposing that functionality to the employee because, anything could happen. They could log in on a public device and forget to log out, and now someone could go in and change the banking information on that employee, and it automatically updates it. So it's just good habit to have them complete it during the initial steps, but then going forward, if they need to make a change, they should come and talk to you. And again, totally customizable. It's however you want to handle that. So let me just put a few things in here. All right, so you'll see when it pops up, it says, thanks, congratulations. Do you want to add another account? So we'll just say no, because we already have 2 accounts showing. And then it's going to go ahead and move to the next step. 1 second here. Sorry, I think my internet's going a little slow here. So it should automatically redirect them to the same step that they left off on. I am on my Wi-Fi right now, and I think it keeps trying to reconnect. Give me 1 second. So everything was saved. I don't have to enter anything new. There's my banking information. And then I'm going to move forward to the emergency contacts. So if you want to make this a required field, you can, or you can just move forward without it. So once we've completed the emergency contacts, we're jumping right into the W-4. So they've got 2 here that they're going to complete. They've got the federal, and then they've got the state, and that's where that tax group was applicable. So we'll just go ahead and enter in our information, and we'll submit it. And then we'll go down to this, save this one. So what this little pop-up is telling us is that at the end, once we've made all of our necessary changes, there's going to be a step where we sign all of our documents at the same time. So it's just saying, hey, you've made your changes. At the end, we're going to have you sign everything at once. So we'll go ahead and move forward and save and confirm. Again, our changes have been saved and we're going to assign everything at the end. We're going to move right into our I-9. And there it goes, it bounces right back. So it populated our social that it pulled from our My Information tab up here at the top. We're going to save and confirm it. So we're getting that confirmation message. And then these are 2 custom steps that you have. So you can use the custom step for whatever you want. Right now, my demo environment is called Parks and Recreation. So you can see in this step, I've just thrown an image in there. I've got some text, and then I'm also have the ability to input videos or rich media format. So I'm just asking them to just watch a quick video about us and our organization, and then move on to the next step. So again, totally customizable. And then you can also enable a benefit enrollment step. So if applicable, you can add images, you can add hyperlinks. If I click on this, it'll take me to my benefit enrollment page. It's important to note that this is collecting the information. It's not bringing it all back into payroll. So you would want to work with the capital payroll team to make sure we have the deduction data in place for those allocations that are made. But it does show them during the enrollment steps that they have that option available. And then once we get through the benefit enrollment, we're on to the document stage. So there are documents that we preloaded, which were the I-9 and the W-4. But if you also wanted to include documents like employee handbook, social media policies, maybe you give them company property, you can include all of those additional documents to have the employee sign off on them. And so we also have company policies that they can acknowledge. So I've just got a test one here, and I'm going to click on acknowledge, and you can see it just pops up in that window. We're just going to acknowledge it and save it. It does capture a timestamp and the IP address of when that was completed. So you have that for audit purposes. And you can always go back and pull that record, but it also saves these completed files on the employee profile. So at any point, you and the employee can log in and see copies of all of these completed documents. So while we're going through and signing these, does anyone have any questions? Again, you can use that question panel on the GoToWebinar toolbar. All right, I do see one come through here. Can fields be customized based on role for visible to full-time? So she's asking, can you customize the onboarding steps based on the employee? So right now it's currently everyone sees the same thing. So if you have different scenarios, like you could make a note like this only applies to full-time employees, or if you're a full-time employee, click here. If you're a part-time employee, click here, and it redirects to additional information. But right now it currently shows the same thing for everyone. All right. So now that we've gone through all of our steps, we've signed all of our documents, we get the confirmation page. Again, this is fully customizable. You can thank them for their time and maybe give them instructions on what to do on their first day when they come in the office. They could also put a note reminder, you need to bring in your items of verification, so driver's license, birth certificate, social security number, etc., so that you can make the appropriate copies. So once we've completed everything, we're going to hit proceed. And then next time we log in, we're automatically coming right back into this portal. We don't have to go through the onboarding steps again. And you will be notified that the employee has completed those steps. So you know you're ready to go in and finish your portion of the setup, which would be assigning managers, division, location, department, pay rates, etc. Any other questions on the onboarding before we move into the My Employer on the Go portal?
Erica, I think you mentioned this prior, but just to reiterate that the onboarding isn't 100% like necessary for employees to be able to use the MyGO functionality. So it's a great tool to be able to onboard employees, but not 100% necessary in order for them to get a login to use everything you're about to show here.
Correct. Yeah, you don't have to activate the onboarding. If you don't want them to go through that process, they'll still get the 2 separate emails and they'll still set up a username and password and enter those security questions. But once they complete that step, it just takes them right into the portal. And we did get another question. Should this generally be done prior to their first day or on their first day? Nick, how do you want to answer that one? I mean, I think it can be done either way, but you obviously would want to have the payroll records updated before they started.
Correct. Yeah, I think it's, I don't think we have a set policy for whether or not this needs to be done beforehand or on the first day. I think either would work. I think whatever works best for, for the company.
There you go. All right, so this is the My Employer on the Go portal. The first thing they're seeing are any announcements that are shown. And you can see, that's just a pop-up on the screen, and there are these arrows toggling. So if you have more than one announcement, you can have that showing on the page. You can also set it up to auto expire. So if you know benefit enrollment is going to end at the end of February, you just have the message auto expire at the end of February, and that prevents you from having to remember to log in and disable it. But this could be, again, reminding people of company picnics or things that are up and coming for you guys that you want them to get excited about. It's just a way to communicate with everyone. And everyone does see the same announcement showing. Now, there are a lot of things on the screen, and it's totally customizable, as we've mentioned before. So if you're using timekeeping and you want them to be able to log in and out or clock in and out from the web portal or a mobile app, you can have the timekeeping show. If you're not using the timekeeping functionality, then this whole section will go away and everything kind of shifts to the left. Same with each one of these tiles. We have pay stubs. You'll be able to go in and view all your pay stubs. Time off balances. If you're not using the accruals, this box goes away. But if they are using the accruals, they'll be able to go in and see what they have in their bucket and then submit a time off request. Because this is a brand new employee, I have not updated any of their benefit information, so they don't have a balance, but they do have the ability to go ahead and put that time off request in. They can select from your earning codes that you have available, choose a full or partial date, pick those dates, and then leave a note for their manager that's reviewing it. They can also see the status, so if something is still pending or if it's been denied or approved, they'll see it when they log in here under the portal. So announcements, again, those pop up when they log into the screen, but then you'll also see them toggling or scrolling here on the right-hand side. If you wanted to include quick links that the client or the employee has access to, you can embed those. So these are just hyperlinks. You have a whole benefit enrollment tile. So again, if you're offering benefits, maybe they're not eligible for maybe the first 90 days, or you just want them to be aware of what the options are, you can actually include images in a hyperlink that can redirect them to their enrollment portal. So they have access to that from the screen. This is an employee directory. So if you wanted the employees to be able to see email addresses and or phone numbers for their coworkers, maybe they're going to be required to find someone to take their spot if they're not able to make it in for the day, you can actually share out the employee directory and be able to filter by division, location, department, or what the role may be in order to find a backup. So we can toggle between these, and our list will get reduced as we continue filtering. And then you can share out calendars. So we have our company calendar that's just letting us know of holidays that are coming up, as well as birthdays if you wanted to share that information out. And then you can assign tasks. So let's say you wanted the employee to complete an assessment on themselves, or you need them to complete their benefit enrollment. This just puts something on their screen saying, hey, there's an action item waiting for you. Once you've completed it, then you'll have the ability to let me know as an admin that you've gone in and you've made those appropriate changes. On the left-hand side, you have menus for everything. So again, customizable. If they don't need to see a lot of these things, you can disable them. But let's say I moved and I need to update my address. I can come right in here and edit, make those appropriate changes without having to come through you guys. I can update my banking information if you're sharing that out. I can see my time cards if I'm using the timekeeping system. I can view my pay stubs, W-2s, benefit statements, make changes to my W-4, again, if you give me access to doing that. And then I can see company data, so any company policies. I'm just going to touch on the company policies here because this is a really nice new feature that we have available. Obviously with COVID, a lot of people went to that work from home position and they may not have had a work from home policy in their employee handbook previously. So what this allows you to do is to build these new policies and have the employee acknowledge the new policy itself versus having them go back and sign a new handbook or anything. So you can upload policies and have the employee come in here and make those acknowledgements. They can always log in and view and download those documents as well. And just highlighting on documents, we did mention earlier that when the employee was going through the onboarding process, that they would have access to any documents signed. If they go under My Profile and My Documents, they're going to see everything that was completed, as well as the timestamp. So if they needed access to their handbook, they could just log right in and download it from the system. As an admin, you also have the ability to add documents to the employee's profile. So let's say you did an annual review on them, or maybe you had to do a disciplinary action and you wanted to save it on their file. You could upload it and electronically store it in the system, and then you can choose whether the employee can see it or not, or is it something that only administrators have access to. If I forgot my password, I'm just going to log out here. If I forget my password, there is a forgot password tool. So if I don't know my username, I can click this and it's going to ask me for my social. If I don't know my password, it's going to ask me for my username, and then it's going to ask me to answer those security questions that I built at the beginning. So again, we're just encouraging the employee to be self-sufficient, to log in and retrieve that information themselves. But if for whatever reason they're not able to get through the steps, as an administrator, you do have access to seeing their username and password. So if I just jump back over to Employer on the Go here, and we'll go to Product Access under Employees, you're going to see each person, and then if you just click on their name, we've got their username and password right here. So this product access is where you will also turn My Employer on the Go on. So if you want to add, if they're not doing the electronic onboarding, which was the initial step that we showed you here to go to employees and onboarding employee setup, if they're not using onboarding and you just want to turn on MyGo, you would just come through the list and find their name and then hit edit. And then on the right-hand side, you would just change this MyGo column to active. And that's going to initiate the 2 emails being sent out, the temporary password and the registration link. The same goes for disabling. If the employee is leaving and they no longer need access to the portal, you can just come in here and deactivate the service. Any questions on My Employer on the Go? Again, feel free to post questions, comments, feedback in that question panel. I'm going to attempt to log in from my mobile device to show you the mobile app, so bear with me just 1 second here. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So I had to switch back over to my computer audio in order to show this, but this is the My Employer on the Go mobile app. So again, it's accessible on Android and on Apple devices. They log in with the same username and password. If there are certain functionality that you're not planning on the employee having access to, you can disable it. So you can see we've got that clock in and clock out button. We have our timesheets, our pay stubs, employee directory. We have those announcements that we looked at earlier. And then here's an example of a task down at the bottom. we can see that I am assigned a task of signing the employee handbook, and it was issued to me in 2017. I probably should sign that. And then once I'm done, I can actually just change the status to let you know that I've done my portion of that, that item. I'm gonna leave it as is just so that I have that. And then the nice feature with the mobile app is if you're using time and attendance, we do have GPS and geofencing. So if you have employees who are out in the field, landscapers, delivery drivers, anything like that, and you want to see where they are when they're clocking in and out, you can enable that feature. So it'll actually show up on the time card a map of where the punch was made. You can also do geofencing. So if they should not be able to clock in and out from any location, only ones that you've allowed, you basically set up a bubble, if you will, of the allowed location. That means the employee has to be within a specific range of that physical address before it takes the punch. Now, it will allow them to make the punch, but you will get a notification showing that the punch was made outside of the allowed location, and you can choose to approve or deny it. I have mine set up to collect all of this information. If they're not going to be required to provide this, it could just be a clock in and clock out button. But you'll see we got that successful message, and it's automatically showing up on our time card now. And then on the right-hand side, the little hamburger menu, it's all of the same things we were seeing earlier when we were logged into the portal. So maybe I'm out buying a new car and I need my pay stubs. I can automatically log in and filter for all of my pay dates in order to download those pay stubs. Maybe I'm doing my taxes and I need my W-2. I can go right in and get that right out of the system without having to wait for anybody to send it. It's just right there, easily accessible for the employee. And all of their historical data is going to show for as long as we've been processing payroll for you. So that check data is going to be in there, and they can toggle back and forth between any of the pay dates. Any questions on the mobile capabilities or the MyGO product?
Just something to add, the GPS feature is really cool. And the other option, though, for clocking in and out, if you're using the web version, is limiting it by IP address. So if you only want them clocking in on the computer at work or on the Wi-Fi network at your office, then that's also a possibility.
Absolutely. Let me get back on the computer screen here. All right. So we went through the presentation, we showed you the product, and we've gone over the different options. So additional tools and resources. You obviously have us here at the Capital Payroll team to help support you. You know, we're happy to get on the phone and do presentation for you, walk through setting the solution up and making it so that it's customized to what you need. But we also have these tools and resources, a video library of quick hit training videos available. Nick, do you want to speak to those videos?
Yeah, these are updated frequently, but if you click into one of those sections, you'll see that there's multiple videos in many of those sections. So for example, human resources and all of the human resource tools that you have available to you in Employer on the Go, for example, you just click on that and it'll open a screen of different videos with different topics with short videos that may be of interest. And as you can see, we have a MyGo section down there as well. We will likely be adding this recorded webinar to this video library. So if you want to go back and look at it at the demo, then we'll have it in there as well.
Thanks, Nick. So before we move forward, we wanted to just throw a poll up on the screen just to get some engagement from you guys. So you should be seeing something pop up on your screen here in just a second. If you could let us know if this is something you're interested in learning more about, we would love to follow up with you individually and talk about your individual needs and how we can help you increase efficiencies and streamline your process, just make things a little bit easier for you guys. We would love to help you. So We're already seeing great feedback. And again, any comments, feedback that you have, we would love to hear it. You can put it in the chat box or you can put it in the question box. We want to make sure that what we're showing you is something that you want to see, that it's relevant and something that would help you with your business. All right, so we'll give that poll just another second here.
Sorry, I forgot to mention that last screen that you saw with those videos. Those are on our website. So if you go to our website, you can find that under the resources.
Perfect. So we'll go ahead and close that out. And then, so again, we're happy to take additional questions, but just so you know what we have coming up. So we did this webinar today. We did one last month where we talked about our employer portal, the Employer on the Go functionality. So if that's something you missed, let us know. We're happy to send that recording to you and happy to have that conversation. But we are hosting 2 more webinars next month. So on June 10th, we're doing one on National Crime Search, which is our background check partner. So if you want to learn more about how you can use us to go through credit checks, background checks, all of that, we'll have a whole session dedicated to talking about that functionality. And then on June 24th, we're going to be talking about Hire on the Go. And that is our applicant tracking and recruiting. So the ability to create your job postings, publish them out on job boards, review those potential applicants, and then have it all flow right back into the payroll system. It's all integrated, so you don't have to do duplicate entry. So be on the lookout for registration emails for those. And we would love to engage with you and answer any additional questions you have. So with that, we appreciate your time. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to, excuse me, all of us at the Capital Payroll team. We've got Nick's contact information here. Thank you, Joya. She said she already has the product activated, and this was very helpful. We love that feedback. Thank you so much. Nick, Jim, anything else you want to add before we close out here?
No, I don't believe so. I think, yeah, it was a great demo. And just to reiterate, if you have any questions, reach out to us. And if you want to dive into more detail on a demo, then we can do that as well. But yeah, so let us know if you have any additional questions or want to move forward.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. We appreciate your time. We hope you have a great rest of your day and a great weekend.
Thank you.